A maiden of yore that loved to sing, a knight of the order bound solely to his duty. Their meeting was one that brought salvation to both parties, yet their parting was one that would bring forth a calamity. For the heart that yearned not but to seek its beloved, dashed were the dreams of a beautiful future. To avenge the one that had fallen in battle, hesitate did the maiden not to forsake humanity. Taking a step back to over 500 years ago, when Mondstadt was flourishing in peace and harmony, there lived a young maiden that loved naught but to sing. Her world was of joy and nothing but happiness. She would often spend time singing in front of the statue of her deity in front of the cathedral of Mondstadt. There, she would spread her joy to others. One fateful day, she would meet a young knight. It was love at first sight, and the two would oblige. To the knight whose life was naught but darkness, she was the light that brightened his world. Soon would come time for the maiden to depart, for she held within her grand ambitions for the future. To Sumeru she would travel to further her studies. Yet in Mondstadt lay her future, whose name was Rostam. Before the lovers parted, a gift was to be bestowed. Rostam gave to her a timepiece, one whose circulation would take many a years to complete. Upon completion of a full cycle, the lovers would reunite. Bearing this in mind, the maiden set off and embarked upon her journey. Yet, unbeknownst to her, that would be their final meeting. A war would break out soon after her departure. As a knight of the city, Rostam would step forth to fight for his people. Oh, great were his accomplishments he made on the field, yet failed he did to preserve his own life. As the embers of his life faded into obscurity, occupied would his mind be by the songs of his beloved. Ah, how great would it have been to hear you sing to me again, one last time. Yet it was not meant to be. The maiden who lived on, unaware of his demise, would continue her studies, unafraid of what was to come. As time went by and the timepiece completed a cycle, the time was upon her to return to her kingdom. Having yearned so long to be reunited, the maiden made quick work of the path ahead of her. Yet cruel is life, as the maiden came to know when she returned to her home to find it in pieces. The kingdom survived, but not at no cost, for the one who made it home would no longer hear her rhyme. Enraged and in despair, she wailed in agony. The ones who caused this travesty would not be let off lightly. Engulfed by her rage, she brought to life a burning flame, one that would burn everything, be it her enemies or herself. Rumors had spread that she had thrown away her mortal body and taken on the form of a being whose veins flowed with flame. Molten fire would replace her tears, for after her grievance she had none left to shed. such a form, she would embark on a different journey, a path of solitude, a road to demise. But for the sake of her beloved, she no longer cried. Instead, to the demons and monsters that brought suffering to the world, she would remove every last one of them until the flame of her life burned no more. As time passed on and she continued down the path, never would she lay a finger upon a human soul. Yet she would come to be feared by the people and be driven away from settlements. This would fail to affect her as she had already steeled her resolve. As days turned to weeks, months and then years, her ever-burning flame was close to its end. Yet lo and behold, her story would not end, for she was sought by a man in a mask. This would bring forth a new chapter of her life. In exchange, she'd lose her purpose in life. Confronted by the first of the Harbingers of the Fatui, she was offered salvation by the ruler of frost. Let the flames that now devour you be extinguished by the grace of her majesty. What say you? The first Fatus gave power to the young woman in whom the flame of life had all but died. Within this exchange, she saw the line that lay between a corrupt past and a stainless future. I understand. Then let glacial ice take the place of my erased past and extinguish these undying flames. Let the darkness of corruption, the pain of the world, and the humans, beasts, and the sin they carry all be purified by silent ice. Despite this, a pure white flame continued to burn within her heart. We share the same goal, you, your Tsaritsa, and I. Cleanse the sources of distortion in this world, short-sighted, ignorant gods, and the darkness and corruption of the abyss. In exchange for her power to further the Fatui's cause, she'd be given a new lease on life for both body and mind. With her flames shackled away and her memories wiped clean, the Maiden of Yore would become the eighth of the Harbingers of the Fatui, La Signora. The flames of the witch once titled Crimson Witch of Flames would be sealed away till naught but embers remain. Such was the beginning of the Crimson Witch of Embers, Rosalyne-Kruzchka Lohefalter. And with that, we've reached the end of the video. I hope you guys managed to learn something new and exciting about the infinite world of Genshin Impact. If you enjoyed the video, consider giving it a like and maybe check out a few of the other videos on the channel. I'm sure they'll tickle your fancy. If you're interested in what's to come out in the channel in the future, consider subscribing. With that, it is time for us to part. I hope to see you again in the future, and until then, I'll see you guys later.